It is good to have you guys here. It is Monday night, December 9th, you guys. And look who's back in the house. We got Meg Johnson back in the house, getting down with rocking around the Christmas tree. So glad to see your smiling faces on here. Hope you've had a great day and really excited about what we are going to talk about tonight. So I'm glad you're here and was really trying to think about what would be the best title for this. What do we want to talk about? And there's a lot of stuff happening, in Optavia. I know a lot of us have gone through different seasons and emotions with our business. And I saw two things from Doug Wood I wanted to share. And one of them, when he was just talking about if you want to grow your business and what's needed for that. And I saw that last week and I was like, yep, I want to touch on that. And then I went to a women's event last week. And the person who spoke, she was talking about something she was going to do in the new year. And she said, most people say new year, new you. She said, I'm going to call it new year, renew you. Because she said, you bring you wherever you go. It's a matter of how do you want to evolve and what do you want to keep from the past? What do you want to pick up from the past so that you can move new into the future? And I love that. So Doug had said in his post, he said, if you want to grow, if you want to grow your Optavia business, we've been through a lot and it requires new. And what he was saying was it requires like a new attitude. How do we approach it? How do we think about what's happened in terms of where our business used to be, how we used to feel, et cetera, how we're feeling now, right? Everything we know it's all about our responses to things. So a new attitude, and then new clients, a new way of coaching your reactivated clients, right? We can't keep coming on doing the same old and letting them do the same old, right? We got to kind of step into our role as coaches. And then real growth is going to happen with new coaches. So what you bring for new clients, what you're bringing to reactivated clients, and then bringing on new coaches. And that's where growth comes from. But it can be hard, right? And what we do in the entrepreneur world, we're probably all a little beaten down, a little tired, and we hear negative feedback. We hear about different things. And Doug did a post. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and you can go read it yourself. I printed it, and it's actually 2 pages long on like regular paper. So I'm not going to spend the time about all that. But he was basically saying, he said, I've coached people for the last 15 years. Many have broken through, but many have not. This can apply to coaches and to clients. He said, the one thing I see in common that holds people up, and if I'm completely honest, I still battle in it, and I have to work on myself as well as help people move forward, is fear of what other people think, what they say to us, or pleasing others. And I think that tends to be a big thing, right? Sometimes we second guess our post. We second guess everything. Like, should I say that? Should I show up that way? Do I want to bring this up at the party? Do I, you know what I mean? Don't want to be offensive. Don't want to be salesy. All of the things. And he gave literally, I mean, those 2 pages are all the negative feedback that he's gotten along the way, with periodically a positive thrown in there. Everything from it doesn't work, you'll gain your weight back, you post too much about health, you shouldn't chase money. Money changes people. You joined a pyramid scheme. Things like that don't work. You shouldn't post before and afters of women in swimsuits. It causes people to lust. You post too much about Optavia. You don't post enough about Optavia. You shouldn't mix God in with your business. It makes people uncomfortable. You and Thea fat shame people since you got more fit. I respect you more that you got more fit. So, both sides of the equation there, right? You just can't win. You post too many before and afters. You don't post as many before and afters. Is something wrong? He talks about you started a school. Is something wrong with Optavia? You're starting a gym. Is something wrong with the school? It's just always people are going to talk. People are going to do whatever. But he and Tia have been very, very clear. In 2011, they made a decision. They were going to listen to God's calling and they were going to step into opportunities. So they have worked through obstacles, probably on levels that you and I cannot even imagine. We've got our frustrations. They've worked through so much. But the one thing he really talks about that I wanted to touch on is he said, he said, folks, there's no way to please other people, whatever. You don't have to explain people to other people. He said, I encourage you to ask God for wisdom and boldness to stay the course with what he has for you. When Tia and I redirected our purpose to God and our mission for his agenda in January 2011, of living his purpose and how to accomplish the mandate on earth, we knew we had to push through great boundaries that others and we ourselves would put on us, and we had to push the envelope to stay the course to fulfill this mission. I encourage you to do the same. As we head into 2025, I encourage you to get bold, get loud, get proud of who you are, what you've done, and how you can help others with what God has put in your hands. This is not a time to shrink back. And he kind of goes through a list. If you're a health coach, be loud. If you're a trainer, be loud. If you have a podcast, be loud. Just be out there. He said, what the world needs is boldness and to see people being courageous right now without apologizing or playing small. Do you stay in your lane, ignore the haters and opinions of others, or do you get crazy bold? And so I just loved it. It was just that mindset and that reminder, because I think we can all shrink, right? Based on our own insecurities, etc. So I don't know. I'm hoping that that lands the way that my heart wants it to with you. But as we talk about new, I know sometimes we can be like, well, gosh, how can that happen? Where am I going to find new clients? You know, all that. And it really does all start in our mind. So I was in the back office and I was looking, it's December 9th, and we've had 7 coaches already bring on a new client this month. And not everybody could be on, but I thought it would be helpful if we did a little round robin of everybody saying kind of what's their mindset and where did this client come from. So I have a new client this month, and I shared with you before, it came from BNI. So I decided BNI is what built my business back in the early years. I was in it for 8 or 9 years. During the COVID years, took off from it, but I went back to it. And that was in February of last year. So I've been building relationships there, et cetera. And the person that came on actually is doing our active program. He's a soccer player, wants to build more muscle. And it was through conversation with him. I wouldn't have even thought of him, but through our one-to-one, got to know it. This is perfect fit for him. So that's where mine came from. I was going to ask Lori Pulver to come on and share.
Sure. Thanks, Dee. So my new client, interestingly enough, came from social media. So I've said for the past, couple of years that I've been out there and getting more comfortable with social media, but I really hadn't gotten that many clients from social media. It's more been through referrals. So I've been noticing that the social media piece is definitely starting to pick up as I've been more consistent. So this client happened to have been a colleague of mine from 22 years ago. It was like, wow, I haven't spoken to her in such a while. And she basically said that she's having so much fun following me and she wants to do what I'm doing.
Wow.
It's just been like incredible getting her going. She's so excited to be on plan and it's just been phenomenal. So like you always say, Dee, and how all of you guys always say that they're out there watching. They're watching us. They're watching what we're doing. And I feel like I've gotten my momentum up. I've just been really super consistent every single day posting, if not once, twice, 3 times a day sometimes. I feel like I have so much content lately that I can't hold back. And it feels really good. And I feel like I really have found my rhythm. And one of the things that has really been helping me, I think I mentioned last time, was following some of the other leaders. Whatever leader that I see that has been really super successful, and they put out a post that resonates with me, I've been following them. I save their posts. I have a file for each person and I just go back and I re-edit. Sometimes I modify it and I'll combine a couple of different posts. But even it's funny because I've been doing that for the past several weeks. And even Kristen Glass said the other night on the community call, she said, everybody, she's like, don't reinvent the wheel. Follow what we're doing. Just follow us, use our content. And she literally, I felt like she gave us the permission to use her content and use what's working, and it's building up the momentum. So I have felt just really super comfortable with that. And I think that I'm not overthinking it, I'm just doing it.
Love it. Magic words right there. Don't overthink it. Just do it. And I imagine from following those different leaders,
Mhm.
you're getting kind of different styles and voices and ideas.
Yeah,
So that's really great because you never know. I think different things are going to resonate. And very often we can just get in a pattern of doing what we think is the most important. But
exactly. And it just has given me so much content to go off of that I just am now keeping a list off to the side because I have just too much almost to share. So it's been very helpful. So I hope that helps you guys.
yeah, and that's good. And I know you went through a season of being very busy with your son graduating and not really being able to give it the full attention. I know you went through a little bit of discouragement, all of the things, but I love your energy that where you are now, it really exudes. So
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Robin Howarth.
Yeah, hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. I will be honest, I have been navigating some really hard seasons. I've been navigating a lot of loss, which has been really hard. I'm actually in New Jersey right now for my aunt's funeral, which is tomorrow. And so I think the thing that's been really interesting for me is that I've been navigating kind of these hard things in my personal life. And I've also been feeling a lot of energy around wanting to really like grow things from a business perspective because I see so much the value of what we have and what we have to offer. I recently um, encountered a new client who came to me by virtue of the mother of a former client who did program, and this woman is friends with her sister. I have no idea. She's like, hey, I want to connect you with Jane, she has questions. I'm like, okay, cool. It's probably the most complex client that I've had to date. She's like a double cancer survivor. She has lots of inflammation, lots of things, so nutrition support is going to be my new best friend. But I think it's the first new client I've had in a long time, and to be honest, I feel like it's almost like that's what I kind of needed just from a confidence perspective, right? Because I think for me, it's very easy, especially when I'm kind of navigating hard stuff just in life, to then let everything go. But actually, what we do with our own health can help keep us sturdy amidst all of the chaos and the hard, right? And I think what I'm also seeing is similar to what Lori said, people are watching, and it's not always the people that I even know are watching. I've got a friend from high school who is set to sign up. She's like, yep, so I'm anticipating that she will be signing up before the 15th because she wants to have a start date of January 1. I've got another college sorority sister who's like, I just need to like do what you're doing. I want that smile that you exit, right? Like it's interesting just to see what things people notice. And I think for me, the biggest thing I'm also reminding myself is like the flight attendant mentality is like not being married to the outcome, just simply nope, like here's what has worked for me. I stand by it. It's changed my life. I would love to walk alongside you. If that's a good fit for you right now, great. If not yet, awesome. I'm still cheering you on. Um, so I'm hopeful that the momentum will continue, but I'm clawing my way. I'm clawing my way back. So
That's awesome. That is awesome. And I think I'm sorry for the the loss you've been experiencing and the hard times. And I can relate to that. And what's interesting is we can go inward, right? And we can kind of turn our back and shut down, or we can open our eyes and go, wow, there's a lot of hurt in the world. Like we can use our own sensitivity to look around and see the hurt around us. And I love what you said of knowing what we have to offer and how it could help people, right? And how it could, so thinking of it as so much more than weight loss is how it can be life changing. So I love that. I love that. All right, we've got Shauna Davis who's going to share. She's killing it over there.
Oh, thank you, Dee. Well, I'm excited. I have a referral this month, which that tends to be where I get most of the clients that come to me that don't come from LinkedIn. So excited about that. And then Optavia leads don't always pan out for us. And yesterday we got an email on an Optavia lead and I reached out to her immediately. I think Frank sent her an email because he was in email at the moment, and I sent her a text. And she responded right back And I said, well, let's hop on a phone call tomorrow morning if you're available. And she was, and she's lovely. She's done Optavia before. I did check about her coach, and for some reason she just did not want to go back that way. So I'm excited to get her started. And then we actually have a referral from LinkedIn. Frank's doing the husband, I think tomorrow. And I'm talking to the wife, I think on the next day. So then there's our LinkedIn connection. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations.
yeah, I talk up referrals a lot with my clients. A lot, a lot. So it's one of the things that I hit pretty consistently.
And I think that makes a difference. I think a lot of us have admitted, like, wow, I kind of slipped out of the habit of talking about referrals. It used to be something a lot, but if we're not talking about it, it's out of sight, out of mind for our clients, right? And so us reminding people, especially this time of year, I think Meg is going to touch on some of this. So thank you for that. And I think there's momentum. We've had a lot of reactivated clients are happening as well. I don't know what's happening in your individual businesses. That doesn't show in my back office, but I know I personally have had a few people come from out of the woodwork. And like one, I didn't even remember her. I was telling Meg today, but like she's a delight. And I'm so glad that she's back. And she wouldn't have been somebody I would have had probably on my radar to reach directly to. And Debbie Pasco was always on the calls, but she couldn't be tonight. And she had a new client. And she said, well, actually, I'm signing another one up for today. And his wife wants to do the program. So, and I said, well, where did they come from? So I can pass that along. And she said, Debbie has been involved with her Chamber of Commerce for years. And these are business connections she has had for years that are now ready. So again, the importance of relationship building and being out and about in addition to social media. So Meg, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, hey guys, here to remind everyone we have 6 days left of the best sale of the year. And so in light of the fact that we only have 6 days, we thought we'd give you just a couple of tips to consider as you are thinking of how you want to wrap up this special. And I mean, I love that we just highlighted some people that have clients that are fired up and excited. We've got reactivated clients. This typically, as strange as it sounds, during the holidays is a time that clients are like, oh yeah, I need to feel better. I need to get back on track. So I am so grateful that Optavia has the best sale of the year that is going on now and for 6 more days. So the first thing that we recommend that everyone do is go in and see who qualifies. So you can go in and log in to Optavia Connect. And I'm looking around on this screen. I know we've got a lot of veterans in here. So, but I'll just show you, if you log into Optavia Connect, you hover over client support and you go down to this button right here called the clients report. Click on that. The first thing that I do is I'll click on this button, the last order date. So it basically puts everybody in order from the last time they ordered. So the people that have ordered recently, all the way at the bottom is the people that haven't ordered in a really long time. And you'll notice I tried to hide some of these rows so that the YouTube recording wouldn't get flagged. So hopefully that works. But I'll just kind of show you what I do with it. So the first thing is you run the report, then you press CSV, and that'll download the file either to Excel or whatever document you like to work in. Google Sheets is another one that works great. And you'll get something that looks like this. Now notice this says blank 1 and blank 2. Again, that's to make the YouTube people happy, and there's no emails or anything like that in here. But these are all in order from when they ordered, right? So what the first thing I'll do is I need to know what is the date that they qualified. So I asked my Alexa, she told me anyone who hasn't ordered since June the 12th of 2024 now qualifies. And because it goes for 6 more days, we actually have until June 18th of 2024. So what I'll do is go through and erase every client who ordered from June 2015 on. So hopefully that is making sense. So I'll erase all of this information, and it leaves me with a lot of people to call. So the next thing I'm going to do is, as I'm scrolling through these, I'm not going to get overwhelmed, right? Because all of these numbers and these all represent people, right? Who might be feeling really stuck right now. And what do we know about our plan? It works. It works, especially when you're feeling stuck. So I would say if anybody has been coaching for a while and you have a long list, take a deep breath, maybe talk to your mentorship team, figure out, okay, how many can you tackle in a day? And what I do is I go through them and I see, who do I want to work with again? Like, who was like close to coaching, or who did I just kind of love and really want to help again? So those are the people I target first. But definitely there's, we were talking today, there's good, there's better, and there's best. So good would be send an email to everyone that qualifies. Better would be send a text message, a personal text to let somebody know, hey, this is something that's going on. And then best would be a personal phone call. And I want to give a shout out to Lucy Ward right now, who has been doing this, and she's just been calling previous clients. And she hasn't been calling them to say like, hey, we got a special going on. Do you want to sign up here? She's been first connecting with the person, seeing how they're doing, what's going on in their world. And as the conversation goes to it, because typically when we talk to previous clients, they're like, oh, I really need to get back on plan, Meg, or, whatever. So when that conversation happens and opens, she looks for the opening and she follows her intuition. So shout out Lucy for doing that and for just being so awesome. So more to come on that, but wanted to let you know that's one thing you can do is run that report, contact the people that qualify, because we have 6 days. So you'd hate for someone to reach out on the 7th day, right? So time is of the essence right now. The other great thing to do would be to put a post up on Facebook, on Instagram as a story and as a post, kind of hit all the different people. So let them know it is our best sale of the year, which is pretty awesome. And then like Dee reminds us so frequently, the before and afters make such a big difference when people see the transformations that happen. And I know we had a great call a couple of weeks ago that gave a good new strategy for how to do those before and afters, where you're actually hitting at the root of what is keeping somebody stuck. So wanted to give you those 3 tips. I always love having a little note card and having a list of my goal and the people as we fill up that note card. But those are the 3 things I would do before this sale ends. All right, Dee, I know you got some other great stuff for us.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. First, I want to remind, I had forgot to say at the beginning, Meg put the link in the chat. You want to make sure you register your attendance if you are here. Most of you guys are. All but 2 are on camera or whatever, which is fabulous. So if you are here, you're on camera, register your attendance. We're not doing weekly prizes this month. You're going to go in a drawing for the gold Optivist necklace. It's going to look awesome on Frank. I know he's putting it. He's going for it. But it is so cool, this Optivist necklace. And then every new client you have this month, you get another entry in it. So boost your interest or your opportunity by doing that. 2 weeks from tonight, December 23rd, we're going to have our new annual holiday party for us. So it's a busy time of year. It's the 23rd. So we thought we'd keep it fun, and we're going to do our virtual holiday party. And if you were with us last year, we had a lot of fun with it. It was new, it was different. And we are looking for 2 volunteers to help us with the planning and execution of that. Many hands make light work, and also more creativity with it. So if that's in your wheelhouse, if you would reach out to Meg or I, that would be fabulous. And we'll be doing the planning. And then 2 things for January, before we're going to talk about the next thing to be working on right now. January 7th, we had decided in our executive director and above call last week that doing a word of the year workshop again for with Susan Brown, the life coach, would be beneficial. So that is, the information's in our group. That is on Tuesday, January 7th. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. There is a small registration fee for that, but highly worth it to start your year with intention. Susan is gifted in this arena. And then Meg and I were just talking today that we're probably going to open it up to clients as well. There's no reason not to. So we're going to open that up to clients. And then on January 18th is corporate. This is, remember what we said, no more convention. Corporate's Ignite Impact event, the virtual event, is on Saturday, January 18th. And this is where we are encouraged in your local communities to do watch parties, get gathered together. But registration, I think, is going to open up later this week for that. So you're going to want to be on it. If you remember, I think the first 50 or 500 people who register get the sweatshirt with it, the swag. So we definitely want to be a part of that. But I think the other really big thing, all right, so if we're Optavia coaches, our role is to keep up with everything that Optavia is doing to keep us competitive in the marketplace. So Optavia Ascend has launched for coaches. So that launched last week on December 5th. And Ascend is designed, these are higher protein, higher calorie items that are designed for two purposes. One, GLP-1 patients, whether they get it through LifeMD with us or they're on it on their own. But the other is that they are now factored into our official new transition and optimization plan. So this is something you're going to want to be knowledgeable of as you're walking clients. If they're coming off the 5-in-1 or the 5-in-1 active, they will evolve into this new transition plan, which is simpler. It is only 3 weeks instead of the 4 to 6 weeks, and whatnot. So, and much more appropriate for what most people need, because when they get to the end, they're done. They want to roll. So we've got to provide that for them. So there are 2 new training modules. So number 1, I hope that, I know lots of you guys placed your order for your own Ascend products, and I think that's so important so that we can experience them, taste them, enjoy them, so that we know how to best market it. We've got to believe in it, just like you did the program initially. And then the second is there's 2 new training modules available. One is on how the program works for GLP-1, and the other is for how it works for transition and optimization. So those are now in the back office. I have a post in there. They have changed it a little bit, how you access those. So there is a post in Coaches Opt for Change about it, but they are simple. And we are recognizing and rewarding coaches that do this on our team before the 26th when it launches for clients. So if once you've got your 2 modules done, let Meg or I know, or comment on the post so that we can recognize you and put you in the drawing, because we've got a great prize for that as well. And Sandra Vita, I know, is on. Sandra was our first coach to get that done. Congratulations to you. And Sandra, if you can come off for a minute just to let us know how that went and kind of encourage those of us that have been on the fence or haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, I mean, they're super simple to do. I was really daunted by the first set. I was like, oh, it's gonna take me forever. But these last 2, 3, and 4 were like, they say leave 30 minutes to do it. It only took me like 15 minutes each. There's like 6 or 7 pages in each, and they're pretty quick. But yeah, like you said, the transition plan was interesting to learn about the new process and using the Ascend products and that. So yeah, some good tips in there. But yeah, they're super easy. Don't feel like you got to save a lot of time to do them. So
yeah, were there any glitches or clunky things or anything logistically you think might help somebody if they're going to get in it, or do you think it was pretty clear?
it's pretty easy. So Optavia Connect, there's a learn tab, and I think it's like coaching something, but it was super easy to get to. But yeah, just one of the tabs on Optavia Connect will get you there.
Okay, good. Good.
And then you have to like register, and it looks like you're buying something, but then you just go into it and launch it, and there's no test or anything, so you don't have to like memorize everything. So
and it's professional. It's a nice platform.
Yeah.
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 I felt so much better. I mean, I've been hearing about Ascend, and we knew it was coming and all that, but when I went through the modules myself, I felt so much better when I went through. I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. And it's coming, and it's coming fast. I've already started to see fueling hacks for the new, new things. Kristen Glass posted some kind of sausage balls she made with the pancake mix, and there's some kind of popcorn mix or something, and something else for the holidays. So, so it's out there. There's some fun things coming. So questions around that? We've got like a minute or so before we wrap up. Feeling pretty good about it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, the 26th, believe it or not, is going to be here before you know it. You know, it's like what, 2 weeks from Wednesday? Is that right? 2 weeks from Wednesday? So, you know, I would say if you can get it done in the next week or so, just kind of knock it off your list before the real chaos hits, that would be great. And then as a reminder, we did announce it last week, but if you were not there, what we decided as a group is that we are going to continue the watch party for the Optimal Health community call. We're going to continue it for coaches because we know that value. It kind of gives us the accountability to watch it, to be informed, so we can be able to use it as a reference for our clients. But we're going to have our clients go directly to the Zoom for it so that they can participate in the chat. And then sometimes there's glitches in the live stream. So, so we will stay on now for the Optimal Health community call. If you didn't see it, they posted in that group, and I did post it in our client group and our coach group. They are looking for feedback on the value of those calls, and you know what we want. So I would encourage you and your clients to fill them out, right? So that we can, they can, because again, we're in a really blessed position that they want to know. So, all right. Okay. Well, hang with me while I get that going. And I think it just started. So we'll be
And
right
while
there.
Dee does that, I will draw for our winner.
We're not going to do a drawing tonight because all these names go in every single week.
Everybody's name. How
Everybody's a winner. Everybody's going in the big drawing that's going to happen.
Awesome.
Maybe at our Christmas party. Well, no, there'll be one more after that. We'll have to see.
Mm.
But yeah, but thank you for that. And I think somebody else just posted about asking what the link was. So maybe we can post that one more time.
Yeah. She's in there.
Thank you guys for being on tonight.
love to watch these. So let's see, go to the chat there, Matt, and we'll check this out where everyone's from. Oh, Wichita, Maui, San Diego, Thousand Gates. Oh, these are going fast. I'm going to try to catch up. Las Vegas, Chandler. Oh, we are right around the corner. Michigan. Oh, we see Jen there.
Florida, Washington, Pennsylvania,
Texas, Tampa Bay. Wow, all over. Okay, you guys, that is awesome. It looks like we span the West Coast to East Coast. So again, welcome tonight. My name is Christy Engstrom, and this is my husband, Matt Engstrom. And before we get started, I would love to share with you on the left-hand corner, we have the impact disclaimer. And if you can't read that really fast, because we want to just share all the time with these 3 stories that we're going to have tonight. But we will have that in the chat, so you can screenshot that and read that later. But the reason we put the impact disclaimer in is because coaches get paid really well by Optavia for doing really well. And so we get rewarded from the company, and we love that. So again, my name is Christy, and this is Matt Engstrom, and we are here to talk about tonight After the After.
So if you wouldn't mind, well.
Okay, disregard the picture. That's not how, that was the before right there. Yeah, so.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Hey, we're really happy to have all of you here tonight. Look, this is a near and dear subject to Christy and I. And, you know, one of the things that is so important is that let's get this out here. My name is Matt Engstrom. My wife already introduced herself. We live in Gilbert, Arizona. We have 6 children, excuse me, 2 children, 6 grandchildren. And this subject of after the after is near and dear to us. After 15 years plus ago, I started the program and coaching for many years. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Yeah, and so I want to back up and just tell you that when we were asked to do this call tonight on After the After, 15 years later, that Matt said yes to Optavia, and he'll share a story. We were super excited because this is what we're living, right, Matt?
For 15 years.
Right, yeah. So I would love to get started and have you share your story really, really briefly.
Well, I got to be careful. I don't use too many words, but let me start here. I walked into the doctor's office. I was 51 years old, and he handed me 4 prescriptions and said, "Hey, you're going to need to start taking these." And I took them home, and Christy handed them back to me and said, "Go back to the doctor and find out what Plan B is that doesn't require you to have to take any of these prescriptions." And the thing you have to understand is I was the guy that was in the gym 5 days a week for 33 years at the same athletic club. And all of that, I could not exercise a fork to make my health right. And I thought I was kind of all that in a bag of chips. So anyway, so what happened is over time, Christy, you want to add anything to this, or we keep going?
Well, when the 4 prescriptions came, I put them on the side of the refrigerator, and Matt went back to our doctor, thankfully, that was so kind to share that he was coaching, or not coaching, but helping so many people, and he had to ask them what they were doing, and it was Optavia. So it was just clear to us that, you know, him growing up in an Italian family and his mom being full-blooded Italian, her love language was pasta and French bread and pizza and all the things. And so Matt, yeah, in his high school years weren't his healthiest years. We'll just say that.
Well, and that was the case until I got here. Till all of a sudden somebody, particularly my doctor, introduced me to Optavia. And so what ended up happening is I did take Plan B, and I did lose 34 pounds. And what ended up happening was my whole, and I'm serious when I say this, my whole life changed in those 33, 34 pounds, because I learned the habits of health while I was going through this. And everything my doctor wanted me to accomplish by taking all of those medications, which was lower my blood pressure, my cholesterol, my triglycerides, and get my A1C down, all naturally happened by doing the program. I never took one of those pills. And I'll even add to a little bit right now to after the after, is that 2 months ago, I went to the doctor and had a physical. And when I got there, she said, "What are you doing here?" And I'll be 67 in a couple months. And she said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I have a scheduled appointment." She goes, "Well, I sent you an email that said don't show up." And I said, "Well, why didn't I need to show up?" She goes, "Everything in your health is absolutely perfect. There's no reason for you to be here today." So the after is pretty significant.
Has it been perfect?
No, it hasn't. And I mean, it's been great. After I lost my weight, I just kept diving into the habits of health. And I've always been an exerciser. I just didn't know what was potential, what was really possible when you combined getting your weight up, applying the habits of health, and doing it consistently. And I'll be candid, I picked up weights one day, and it's not that I didn't work out and lift weights or do anything. I just didn't do it consistently. And so through simple consistency over a series of 7 or 8 years, physically, I completely changed on top of the weight loss. So
can you share a great after story that I think there's some pictures to kind of explain what happened, like after and then after the after.
Yeah. So 8 years after doing the program, and just for what it's worth, I was a coach. I became a coach. But 8 years into it, I ended up going on a trip to Italy, or Christy and I ended up going on a trip. I didn't go. She was there with me. So before I left, I had decided, because my mother's full-blooded Italian, and the reason I weighed 262 pounds when I was 16 years old was my mom was just one heck of a great cook. And I loved every second of it, but I had no boundaries. Once I got through the habits of health and got my weight down and found mindfulness and boundaries and eating extravagantly, but creating health, when I get to Italy, before I go to Italy, about a month before, I thought, I can't wait to go. I am going to eat all the pasta all over Italy. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to drink wine. I'm going to do everything that I shouldn't do, that I help everybody else try to fulfill in their lives, that I've been blessed with.
Talk about what happened, like right before we got on the plane. And
right. Well, sooner than that, 2 weeks before we went, I literally just decided that I was going to have a plan when I went, and I continued to be mindful. I ate 6 times a day. I took a few fuelings to have a couple of fuelings a day. I came home from Italy, and I had, after 3 weeks, and I had gained 2.5 pounds. That was Tuesday morning after I got home Monday night, and on Thursday I was back to the weight that I left at. And what you see here in these pictures is the guy on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I'm 59 years old, I think, in this picture, maybe 60. I'm diving off this rock. I did exercises every morning. This picture of the eggs and the tomatoes and the mozzarella cheese. I found this lady who made breakfast for me every morning, and I made sure I just kept certain things in play. So I followed the habits of health the whole time. And don't get me wrong, I ate well. I hiked 4 to 5 miles and saw sights and did everything. At the end of it, I understood that everything that attached itself to after was literally attached to the habits. And I taught it, I'd done it, but I never really captured it till I really put myself to the test. And when I did that, all of a sudden I understood exactly what Dr. A had created and put in my hands. And now here I am 7.5 years later, and I actually weigh a little less than I did then. I'm almost 67. My physicality is very well in place, and the habits have changed everything for me for the rest of my life. The after is an amazing place to be.
And it's possible.
And Christy's 100% right. It's possible for everybody. It's just developing those habits simply and consistently over time.
So before we introduce our next speakers, what we would like to share is that, again, we were talking about, it's not about perfection, but what we know is the 4 components attached to this program: your fuelings, the community, the habits of health, and the education piece. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is amazing. So we didn't sign up for a 30-day program. We signed up for a lifetime
That's right.
program to get our health where it needed to be. And our why, I'll just go back to our why. Selfishly, it was for us, right, to be healthy in our second best half of our life. But we wanted to set an example and leave a legacy for our grandchildren so that they could watch us and they could follow in our footsteps. And so with that, should we go ahead and introduce?
Well, yeah, the next 2 people I would like to bring on, there's all kinds of great stories attached to this. Just let me tell you, the transformation for Mark is amazing. Pam has kept that place, but there is something special about Pam when Mark made this decision, and the 2 of them have walked a path of health. And I'm going to let them tell the story. Mark and Pam, come on in and join us. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be here. We're thrilled to be here, honored to share with you a little bit of our life story. I was 64 years old and getting ready to retire. And at that time, I was very much overweight, and I had tried to lose weight before, but had not been successful and regained everything that I lost. Familiar story for everybody. And I came across my coach, George and Ann Powell, and they started providing us with some guidance. I signed up, proceeded over the course of 4 or 5 months to lose 61 pounds, and have felt wonderful since then. However, I also did the in between the after because I allowed myself to go back to gaining 15 or 20. But then with the fat burn blitz that we just had, got really serious about things and got really excited about it, and down to my lowest weight that I've been, and that is my high weight, the highest weight that I'm going to have, and I'm going to pursue lower after that. Right now we're older than Matt. Okay. I'm 70 years old. But the reason we want to do it is because of the grandkids that you see on the screen. We've got 8 of them, and we want to influence them. I'm a retired minister, And I want to be able to continue to serve churches, even in my retirement. And had I been where I was before, I would not have the energy to do what I do now. So that's,
So I love your why, you guys, because you have a similar why to ours. But Mark, what besides just showing up and in your healthiest self, and I know you guys walk daily. What are some things that you've noticed in your health transformation from the after? And Pam, please chime in, because I know that you're probably in the kitchen making them food, right? And preparing meals for Mark.
We are doing that together. This is a real teamwork. He's the meat miser and I'm the veggie.
I love it.
But yeah, the idea of eating simply, eating the right food, getting the actual exercise. We know how good we feel when we stay with that. And we have that energy.
and we just got these today.
We're so excited.
Yeah, go Ascend. So
So
I have
please
another
go.
question for you guys. How accurate would you say the coaching piece comes in as far as checking in with your coach and the accountability piece?
It is absolutely essential. Anybody who says that they don't need coaching is basically setting themselves up for failure. And that's, and I've experienced, I know that from experience, but I also know that because I've coached other people, and whenever I get no response, I know it's a tough situation. You hurt for the people.
Let me ask you this, because we talk all the time, and I'm really curious. Okay, with all this health improvement over all these last number of years, and I watch you two all the time, that's always a big smile on your face and doing something. How, for you too, Mark, because of your health improvement, and Pam, you've improved in certain areas as well. Even though you don't have the big weight loss story, you had things you fixed. But what's the thing the two of you do now that brings you the greatest joy together? I mean, I'm watching it, I see it, but why don't you share a little bit about how this has changed that part of your life?
Go ahead.
Well, we have more vibrancy, more moments together, just going out on walks. That is our time to debrief, but also to be rejuvenated. And we have energy. I have a goal. You didn't know this, but I want to go rock climbing with our oldest granddaughter very soon, like for Christmas. To have that energy and to be able to do it together is amazing.
Well, watching your after from where you started is an amazing thing to see your after the after. And what you just shared doesn't surprise me about you at all, Pam, and how you like to press the envelope. Bully for Mark, just saying, for what it's worth.
We all need a Pam in our life.
Thank you very much for
Thanks you guys for sharing.
tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So good. So do you want me to introduce our
Yeah.
next speaker? Okay. Okay, our next speaker is Annie Bergeson. And I think the reason that I asked Matt, can I introduce Annie, is because, can I just share a little bit real quick, Annie? Funny story. So it's no secret that Matt and I are health coaches, and it was no secret to Annie. But and Annie doesn't think this, she doesn't remember this part of the story, but I remember her telling me this vividly, that her and her daughter would be with their triple mocha frappuccino, kind of like, oh, there she goes again. So, we don't know what we don't know sometimes. And so at one point, Annie, I'll let you share your before story.
Yeah, thank you. It was actually a caramelizer from Dutch Brothers, but we won't go there. That's just splitting hairs. Oh my gosh, just looking at the pictures of my family brings me to tears, because thinking about who I was 8 years ago before Optum Optavia is just a lifetime ago. So again, my name is Annie. I am a wife to an amazing husband of over 35 years who's sitting here encouraging me behind the scenes. We have 3 grown kids, we have 4 grandchildren, and they truly are our world. So what my life looked like before I started Optavia, I was very stressed. I was working full-time in retail. And let me tell you, during the holidays, if anybody who's worked retail in the holidays, you know, it is hard work. So I was really depressed, very lonely. We had moved 3 states in 3 years. I felt displaced, and I really felt like I had lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. I pretty much lived off of fast food and sugar. And when I say that that was my main source of sustenance and caffeine, I am not exaggerating. I was so sleep deprived because I would be up all night, probably until 2, 3 in the morning. I was in chronic pain. My hips hurt, my back hurt, my everything hurt. And honestly, my heart hurt because I knew that this wasn't the life God created me to live. I even reached out to my doctor and I just said, could you please prescribe some pain pills because I hurt all the time? And he said, Annie, if you would just lose some weight, it would take so much pressure off your body. You would feel so much better. And guess what I did? I went to see another doctor because I wasn't ready to hear that. And so the next doctor said the same thing. He's like, Annie, if you would just lose a little bit of weight, you would feel so much better. So in walks Optavia 8 years ago, October of 2016. Thankfully, my coach answered the call. I probably took a year to send that message. I would text her getting ready to send it and I would delete it. Try it again and I would delete it. And I finally said, that's it. I cannot take it one more day. And thankfully, she responded and got me started. And I lost 78 pounds in 7 months, which is amazing. But guess what? How many of you know that real transformation doesn't happen overnight? And it definitely doesn't happen in 7 months. So my journey has been like this, and it hasn't been a perfect journey, and it's not perfect today. But what I love is that because of coaching, because of our community, the connections we make, the accountability we have, the accountability I have to my coaches, but also to the clients that I serve, keeps me moving forward. So what does my life look like today? Oh my gosh. So everybody that knows me will always see me with my water bottle. I drink at least 120 ounces of water every day. I walk every day, rain or shine. I prefer the shine over the rain, but I have a treadmill. So on those rainy days, I still get my walk in no matter what. My husband and I love to hike. We love to travel. We stay active. I think what the biggest thing for me with my grandkids, I realized I wasn't that active grandma that I always wanted to be. I was the grandma that sat on the couch and just said, hey, wait till grandpa gets home and then we'll do something fun, because I just didn't have the energy. Now I'm the one that's like, come on, Gigi's gonna run after, chase, play, do all the things with them. And so my life is 100% different. My nourishment isn't perfect, but it's always moving forward. You know, so I think it's going from barely surviving to truly thriving. And that, I think, is what has given me the freedom to live. It's not about the weight that we lose, but really the life that we gain. And so I'm so grateful for Optavia and just so grateful for the life that I'm living today that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't said yes 8 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and Annie, you know, talk about the journey not being perfect, right? Because there isn't anyone that's done this program perfectly. But
Right.
What I love is that you, being your coach, you checked in. You know, you didn't ghost me. You always, you know, maybe said I'm not having a great week or whatever. And you know, there's no report card with this program.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah.
hey, let's break it down and see what happened. And you know, just honesty and just looking forward to that call with your coach is so vital. So
Yeah.
vital. I can't say enough.
Yeah.
So did you want to?
Well, Annie, I'm just going to ask you one quick question, and that is, name just one thing in the last 2 years, because this is the journey. Okay, one thing in the last 2 years that you would go, oh man, did this in the after, this was such a remarkable shift that happened for me.
Well, I think you guys probably know this, but you know that my husband was diagnosed with cancer about 1.5 years ago. And if we hadn't been living the healthy life that we had, I think the outcome would have been very different. But because we were in such a healthy place when we got that diagnosis, we both just said, okay, we're going to keep doing the things that we're doing, the things that we can control. And because of that, I mean, we made it through that with a very different mindset. Now, was it an easy journey? Of course not. What was I perfect? There were days that I just, get me into a bin of ice cream and I probably would have been happy, but it really wasn't going to be that. It was the choices that we made to push beyond the circumstance and just dig into the habits. So we walked still, we hydrated still, we nourished our body. We did all the things that were in place because that was already there. Does that make sense? So
perfect sense.
yeah. Even though you get knocked back, you pick yourself up and you move forward. And I love the analogy. And I think many of, I've heard it on our calls. I think Matt, you've shared this before. It's like you're on a marathon, you fall, you don't get up and go back to the start. You just get up, shake the dust off, and you move forward. And that has been really, my health journey has not been a straight line. And I keep working towards getting better every day instead of, we can't look back, we can only move forward.
Well, I thank you for that response, because I think that's so apropos for all of us. And what it really boils down to, one word, is contender. And that is who you are. And I love watching that every single day. Thank you, Annie, so much.
Thank you for joining us, Annie, and sharing.
For
Such a
sharing.
beautiful
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving ahead now. This has been fun.
It is fun,